Hey guys, welcome to the video. John Bodine here with Redemptive Psych. Welcome back to the beginning of our series on how we develop as types, how our types grow and change and integrate over time. If you haven't seen the first video where I talk about the functions specifically how they develop, and you're interested in this topic, you should watch that first because this is going to build off of that. I'll link that above. So in that video, we talk about how your hero is going to be shaped either more through the inferior or through the nemesis. There's like one path that is going to be preferred, particularly early on. That one relationship, either the hero with the inferior or the hero with the nemesis, is going to be instilled in us more deeply. Now, there's another part here which we're going to talk about right now, which is that we develop in stacks in terms of pairs. And this goes back to the beginning where Jung, in his book Psychological Types, this one, talked about we have our superior function, and then he talks about the inferior function. Towards the very end of that, he posits that, hey, there's some interesting patterns here that we also have this auxiliary function, this secondary function that is totally different in quality to our hero function. If we have an introverted perception hero, we have an extroverted judgment auxiliary or parent, right, as we've come to call it. Different worlds coming together, oil and vinegar coming together in pairs. Judgment, perception, introverted, extroverted, so on and so forth. And from what I can see, the reality of development is that it happens in these pairs, okay? If someone is developed into their child function, they're also developed into their inferior. Now, developed is a relative term. It doesn't mean that they're a good person or a mature person. It means that as their psyche has grown and developed, they came to prefer certain stacks of functions. The idea here is that at any point in our life, at least from a general general perspective, we will be in one of these stacks primarily. Okay, there will be times in your life where your child and inferior will be preferred, so on and so forth with the nemesis critic. Obviously, the hero and the parent is our home base. And then at certain times, usually very, very difficult times, the trickster and the demon. Though it doesn't, I think there are occasional times the trickster and the demon can actually be sort of a redeeming focus to have. But most of the time, this is survival, trickster, demon. So this is important to know because in order to discern mistyping, for example, this is one of the huge reasons people mistype. We talk about this often here. INTJs, for example, developed into, hey, FI child, SE inferior, they can start to look a lot like a idealist with a little more feeling, or even a artisan with that SE, FI, SFP combination, okay? I can't tell you how many like ENTJs I know who've mistyped as like an ESFJ or an ESFP, something like that, because of their development. A person at any point in their life will be a vessel for the energy of a child-inferior combo or a hero-parent combo. Are they a little more playful and certain and believe in their path in this sort of innocent way, or is it more deep and heroic and responsible? One way to examine this is to look at characters, particularly like really famous like superhero characters or film characters, something like that. For example, the Joker, one of the most popular characters, at least in the West here, the Joker is a demon trickster combination. Okay, and these combos occur in many places. Okay, I would say the clown from It is also a trickster demon combination. It's in both the Joker and the clown in It, they are primarily tricksters who are demonic in their expression. Okay, so these pair together. Someone like Thanos, for example, I think he views himself as being heroic because he's willing to make the choice and carry the burden that no one else can carry. If he's not hero parent, he's probably a nemesis and critic. I think he views himself at least in this way. Darth Sidious is a good example, I think, of the inverse of the Joker and the clown, because he's more that demonic figure who uses these manipulations, these tricksterly manipulations as a secondary thing. He's more a demon trickster than a trickster demon. Someone like Gandalf, for example, he's this sort of old old guy. He's like, he just wants to go smoke his pipe and probably chill, but there's a lot of things going on for him. He's a little more assertive, a little more disagreeable. I think he's more that Nemesis critic, being worried, being on the lookout for things that could go bad, and then really calling out people for them being stupid or making mistakes. I believe he is of this pairing here. So if you want to, just as an example, if you're like a writer or a storyteller, I think this is a good block to either start with or use, but it's also a way to get to know yourself and others better. That it's my belief that one of these blocks at a given time in your life is going to dominate your personality, your personhood, and it's also part of a bigger narrative in terms of where your life is going and what is required of you in that time, what functions, what energies are required of you in that time in order to deal with what you have to in as well as you can. Anyway, guys, that's our discussion on the pairs. We develop in pairs as we develop into specific functions as well. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know if you have identified this in your own life or others. I think this is a powerful kind of sub-metric that can also be pretty fun if put to some other uses. Anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time. Bye.